Hello, automation and robotics students. This is a video demonstration of how to connect and set up your VEX Cortex project and begin programming it with RobotC. So one of the things that you should do, if you haven't done this already, is to have your worksheet in front of you. If this has not been filled out already, then you want to fill this out as we go, and this is intended to be a resource for you as you work. So if you need a reference and need to go through the steps, you can go through these steps and get your project up and running. Okay, so the first step is we want to completely fill out the schematic, and the schematic for each of your projects looks like this. Your electrical engineer needs to complete this. This is where you fill out what inputs, analog inputs, sensors and digital sensors you're putting in. Usually we'll start with a bump switch over here and then a motor or two over here, and you need to identify what port that these things are plugged into, and you also need to come up with a name, and we will talk more about naming this stuff near the end of this demonstration. Okay, the next step on is already filled out. You need to log into a computer workstation. I suggest you also sign in to Google FileStream, and if you don't know how to do that, we'll have another resource for you to do that, or you can ask another student, or you can ask Mr. Eldred how to get into FileStream, and FileStream can be important so you can save your work someplace safe. So step 3 is plug in the USB cable. So you got to plug in your orange USB cable. Your USB cable might also be black or gray, and it's going to go in right here on the Cortex. And you should also, if you want to make note on your page, that you should get a green indicator and a red indicator here at this point, a green and a red. If you don't get those, then there might be an indication that there's something wrong. Then step 4 is you're going to plug in the battery. One of the notes on the batteries is sometimes these are a little loose, and so this might become disconnected. Some students have some success with taping this down or up, however you want to do that, in order to ensure that there's a proper connection that stays. And then we have to turn on the Cortex. This can be kind of tough to do. You may want to use a tool to reach in there and turn that up if you don't have, a nice fingernail to get in there and do that. So that was so step 5 was turn the Cortex on. Okay, and then step 6, we start with launching RobotC, and RobotC for us is a 4X. It's a green, mint green circular icon. There's another icon that says RobotC on it that's green, but it's kind of a squarish or a rhombus shaped thing, and I would prefer you guys use this one for now. Okay, so I'm gonna launch RobotC. Here's my icon right here, and I double click. And I'm going to resize. The window comes up. You might get a window that says that there might be an update. Hit cancel. You do not need to do an update. I'm going to resize this window. Okay. And right now we have no files open. This is just a welcome screen with links to the current version and some help documentation and stuff. And there's some things that we need to do right now in order to prepare for this. So the next thing is we want to go to the robot menu, and the robot menu is, so we have the standard menus up here, and then there's a different menu that you've probably never seen before. Here's the robot menu. To start off with, and this doesn't say this on your worksheet, but some of your setups might be goofy because they might be set to VEX IQ. So if we go here to say, the first thing you need to do is to set the communication mode, VEX Cortex communication mode. But if you see this menu doesn't say VEX Cortex, it says VEX IQ, then we need to go down here to platform type and change it to VEX 2.0. And if VEX Cortex 2.0 isn't here, we can go here and select it in there, and then it should show up. And if you're having difficulty with this part, then you can ask somebody or raise your hand and I can help you. Usually this is a sticky setting that once we set it on the account for the computer, it should be okay. But if we update the software, it might get reset, so you want to watch out for that. We want to make sure we go into the step 7 robot menu, VEX Cortex communication mode, and we want to change this to say USB only. If we say VexNet or USB, it's going to the Cortex is going to waste some time looking for VexNet connection. This is a wireless connection protocol, and we don't have that because the equipment is expensive. So we want to save some time and say USB only, and then we're going to go for step 8. We want to make sure that we have VEX Cortex 2.0 checked, and we're going to go down here and we want to put a dot next to, we want to select natural language PLTW. Okay, we're going to select that, and if you notice, a new module showed up here in the functions palette on the left. Okay, so again, that was VEX 2.0 Cortex and natural language PLTW. Okay, step 8. Sorry, that was step 8. Step 9 is we need to go to the File menu and open sample program. And we're going to navigate here to PLTW, and we want the PLTW template. And this is nice because the PLTW template starts with this commented area. This green text in programming is comments. It is information for programmers, information for other programmers who maybe didn't write the program originally. It is important that we put comments and information about the program in the program itself, and we can create a block comment by doing a / star or / that's, you might call it an asterisk, and then asterisk / and anything that appears in between these two symbols will be grayed out. And so we have a project title. This is testbed 1, and then obviously team members are date can be important, and then section is the same as the hour. So if you're in third hour, then you can type in third hour. If you want to type in the date, today is okay. And then I'm not so picky about the task description here. If you want to type in your I can statement, I can write a simple program. Okay. Pseudocode we talked about. This is our plan, and when you turn in these programs, a big thing I'm looking for is, did you go to the trouble of writing a plan for your program using the simple code? So for us, we're going to we always start with an bump. So this is what you want to see happen, what you need to do and see happen. So on bump, when I press the bump switch, okay, I want to start the left motor, and we're going to wait 1 second, and remember this is very simple instructions, and then stop the left motor. Okay, your actual testbed 1 that you need to do and turn in will have more. There's code that you can, or excuse me, pseudocode in Google Classroom that you can copy and paste in here, so you don't have to type it all in. But there's a lot more you need to do for testbed 1. So you can't just do what I'm doing here in this demo and turn that in and expect to have demonstrated enough of an understanding on how to program. So always fill in. At this point, we need to save as. Don't just hit save, because if you hit save, first of all, it's PLTW template and you're saving into a location that you can't actually save into. You don't have file permissions to do this. So we need to change the location to someplace that you can save to. If you want to put it into the documents folder, or if we do the file stream will show up in here somewhere. You can see I have Google Drive right here. File stream is the new version of Google Drive. And so we're going to have some different lessons on talking about that, but for this demonstration, I'm going to put it in my documents, and we always want to have last name. So okay, so last name first. That way I can tell whose is whose. Another way I can tell who this belongs to is by having names in the program. But often I will get students turn in a file that has no header information filled in, so there's no names, and then they just left the default name as the PLTW template, and I have no idea who turned that in therefore. So it's essentially you've turned in an assignment with no name on it. I can't assign points to it. So you need to be cognizant of the fact that this is really important if you want to get points for this, okay?